Ciao everyone, it's Marchettino, and today we're off for a drive in a rather iconic hot hatch with a long history behind. This is the new Volkswagen Golf GT. So guys, here we are on the channel with the brand new Volkswagen Golf GT. Actually, it's my first time behind the wheel of a GT, so I'm rather curious to see how's this car like to drive on a twisty road like this. The GT is a car with a rather long history because the first one was introduced in 1975, so we can say that the Golf GT is pretty much like the Porsche 911 of the hot hatches. This 8th generation has made people and enthusiasts talk very much for the design because not many people really dig the look of the new generation. We can see the changes here in the front, especially with the lower headlights. So, love it or hate it, the Volkswagen Golf GT has always been a very successful and popular hot hatch. If you look at it, you can tell it's different from a standard Golf. It's sportier, yet it's not very flashy. It's not a car that wants to shout to the world, "Hey, look at me, I'm driving a GT." So, being a GT model, here we find a very distinctive element of this model, like the red line going over the front, and here, being the new generation, we see underneath a new LED light. We also find more GT logos here, and in the back we find another GT logo. Volkswagen, why did you put it here in the middle? I find this annoying. Just put it here in the bottom. I think that's the right place, not right there. And also, being a GT, we find another distinctive element like the double exhaust pipes, and this is how the engine sounds like. The version I'm driving is fitted with 18-inch wheels, and behind, here's the braking system. In the front we find 340mm discs, and in the back, of course the brakes are smaller, here we find 310mm discs. So you heard the engine sound, and here's the engine bay. Right, the engine bay is quite anonymous. I mean, there's no Volkswagen GT logo, this is just a massive piece of plastic, but still, this is the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, the same engine of the Mark 7.5 performance version, which delivers 245 horsepower and 370 Newton meters of torque. Of course, all the power is unleashed in the front. And now let's have a quick look at the interior of the new GT. So, first thing, I'm in love with the seats. I love the plaid style. This is so iconic. Every Golf GT must have it. And yeah, I think with this kind of seats, we're ready to have lunch on it. So, let's get on board to have a better look. So, let's start also the engine. So, the version I'm driving is fitted with the DSG transmission. So, basically, it's a double clutch 7-speed transmission with a pedals behind the steering wheel. If you want, you can have it also with the 6-speed manual. In this new generation, you can tell that Volkswagen really raised the bar in terms of build quality and also style. I mean, just look at this. Here we find 2 massive digital displays. There's not many physical buttons because you do most things here on the infotainment. So basically, you play most of the time with it. And overall, I have to say, I like the build quality. There's lots of plastic, but I mean, it's nicely done. Wherever I touch, I look at, I feel like that the build quality of this car is pretty good. But of course, there's a price to pay because all this stuff doesn't come for free. So the price here in Italy for the Golf GT is 41,000 euros. I got to play with the online configurator, and my ideal Golf GT, which is not even full option, will cost 48,000 euros. And we're off, guys. Let's start the test drive in the latest generation of the Volkswagen Golf GT. We're starting gently, so out of the several driving settings we have, I'm starting in comfort mode. And in this setting, you realize that this is an all-around hot hatch. If you want to drive it gently, it's rather comfy and smooth. For example, here in comfort mode, the steering wheel is very soft. So does the throttle, which is very delicate. So in this setting, you don't get to experience the maximum potential of the engine, but still, even if you're cruising, you feel a lot of power and torque available at low revs. And the DSG, the double clutch transmission, in comfort mode, it's very soft. It's so smooth and delicate that it keeps upshifting all the gears. So you drive all the time with the engine at low revs, but still, as soon as you smash the foot on the throttle, the gearbox wakes up very quickly. It shifts down a couple of gears and you immediately feel the power of the engine. You know, I'm driving in Italy, which means that most roads are rubbish. You can tell by this road that there's lots of roughness on the tarmac, but still, in comfort mode, the suspension are able to absorb all the roughness of the road very nicely. Being a GT model is designed not just for cruising at low speed, so now let's play on the infotainment. At first glimpse, you lose yourself in front of the screen. Okay, so there it is. Sport mode. We have also individual mode, which allows to change individually lots of parameters, but now we're gonna drive just in sport mode because this setting is designed to offer the best performance of this car. So manual setting, the transmission, the sound of the engine is not that bad. I mean, it's the typical exhaust note coming from a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine. It's very deep. And considering that most modern sport cars or hatches have lots of restriction, I mean, it's good. It's okay. In sport mode, you can tell a big difference compared to comfort mode because everything is different, starting from the transmission, because here the DSG is way more reactive and responsive, but still you don't really feel the upshifts. It's faster, but yet it's smooth in every upshift. The throttle is way more responsive, and here in sport mode you can tell that this engine has a lot to offer. As I said, 245 horsepower and 370 Nm of torque. Everything is available starting at about 2000 RPMs. And you feel a good amount of power and torque until around 6000 RPMs, and then you want to upshift again. And talking about the transmission, one thing that irritates me very much is, I mean, just look at this. So first gear. Did you see that? First to second gear, even though I'm driving in manual, DSG has decided to upshift by itself. So basically, it's a manual, but actually it's not manual, it's still automatic. It's not the first time I'm driving a car with a transmission like this, and honestly, I find this irritating. Let's try one more time. And keep talking about the transmission. I wish the pedals were bigger, because honestly, just look at this. The pedals behind the steering wheel are very tiny, and sometimes you are with the hand and you're like, ooh, where are they? I'm trying to find them. So I wish this car had bigger pedals. But overall, DSG plus this engine with a very little turbo lag, it's a good combination, because you keep the foot down on the throttle and you constantly have a very steady and powerful power delivery without any interruption. Considering that we're doing this test on winter tires, I have to say that for being a front-wheel drive car with 245 horsepower, I think this car is able to unleash all the power nicely. Also because here on the GT we have an electronical limited slip differential that I have to say it works nicely, because I think this car doesn't have a big understeer. The weight claimed for the 8th generation of the GT Dry, it's 1,460 kilos according to the
European laws of homologation. So it's not like a Lotus, it's not the lightest Altech available on the market, but I think that around the twisty road like we've seen 10 minutes ago, I think it's agile, it's fast. The steering wheel is communicative enough to make you understand where the front actually is going. I got to experience the car on a moist road, so we got to play also with the front to make it understeer. So overall, I think this car is pretty fast. Volkswagen claims 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 6.2 seconds. Top speed is electronically limited to 250 kilometers per hour. So I will say, for being a daily driver, I think this car is not bad at all in terms of performance.
So here's my final consideration about this brand new Volkswagen GT. As I said, this is not the most exciting nor the most engaging Altech I've ever driven, but still I think that the strength point of this car is the versatility. It's not too flashy, it's fast, it's comfy, you can daily drive it. This is what the Golf GT is about. And guys, if you had to pay about 41,000 euros for an Altech, which one would you rather have in your garage? So feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Hope you guys did enjoy the video and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more. And as always, thanks for watching. Ciao!